Hello, can you hear me? I'm gonna get myself sent. I gotta get this. 1 second. I can't hear you. Take your time. Fix my backdrop.
There we go.
We're gonna fix my backdrop, but that's okay. Stuff happens, right? It's life.
There we go. Hi.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
You too. Thank you for joining.
Sure.
We get the comments set up.
I always love talking about worms.
That's good. I'm definitely glad that you took the time out. Let me get situated. I'm kind of crooked on the camera. I'm glad you took time out that we're able to connect, and I really enjoy doing these live streams with people. And the thing about life, if you don't ask, you'll never know. So I said, let me ask and see if she's able to get something scheduled with live streaming.
Yeah, why not?
So am I too loud or anything?
No, I hear music though in the background. Is that?
Yeah. Is the music too loud in the background? Or is it okay?
It's okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I just want to say thank you for joining the live stream. I want to welcome Miss Cathy Nesbitt. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes.
She is a world-known public speaker. She has a lot of experience on worms, over 20 years. She has her own business, and I'm going to let her tell her story about worms. But first of all, I heard you were terrified of worms, because I went back and checked out some of your videos and stuff. So tell us your story on how you became your journey becoming a worm farmer and how you became successful in your business. And also, she's from Canada, so shout out to the Canadians. Good to have you.
Thank you, AJ. I appreciate it. Yeah. So, it's the 20th anniversary of Cathy's Curly Composters, and I wouldn't say terrified of the worms. I thought they were gross or icky. I didn't want to have them in the house, for sure not.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. And then 93, I bought my house and I moved out of Toronto, and usually when you move out of a big city, you have to travel back there for work. So that's what happened. And when that same year, that first year that I bought my house, I couldn't wait to have a garden and compost and, do all that stuff. And a teacher friend asked me to look after her worm bin for the summer.
Okay.
And I was like, ugh. But as an avid gardener and composter, I knew the value of the worm compost. And I think we should take on challenges, and not let someone else decide for us. Oh, you won't like that.
Okay.
Right? So I
definitely agree.
Yeah, so I took on the challenge. I had worms in my basement. It was awful because I was a fruit fly farmer.
Okay. Yep, I have fruit flies before too.
Right? Don't be a fruit fly farmer. If you're going to take on worm composting, folks, it's not a necessary component. But here's the thing. We called them fruit flies, right? They're bugs. We called them bugs. They bug us. So they're just doing their job. They bug us. But they really work in tandem with the worms. I know you know. But for those listening, the fruit flies don't cause any trouble for people. They're just, a nuisance.
Okay. So it's becoming a time of year where fruit flies will be a nuisance again. Okay. So what are your tips on controlling fruit flies in a worm farm?
Love it. Okay, good. So the fruit flies, I often ask people, because that's one of the big objections. And I'm sure you're aware of that too. One of the questions that people ask. So I ask people, have you had fruit flies in your house? And they say yes. And then I say, okay, good. Have you had a worm bin before? And if they say no, I say, good. So you know that the fruit flies don't come from the worm bin. They come from the food. Right? So myth number one busted. It's not like you're producing them in there, although it is a great environment. So what people can do, fruit fly eggs are on all the fruit. Right? They're fruit fly eggs. They don't care.
That's right.
They just need a host.
That's right. I agree.
Right? So I'll use bananas as my example. So when you bring the bananas home from the store, they're green, sometimes, yellow. As they start to get ripened, turns brown and speckly, that's the perfect environment for the eggs to hatch and fly around and bug us.
Okay.
So, and we don't generally wash the banana before eating, right? We just peel the thing and there's the banana, we eat it, and we have the peel intact. So if you give your banana peels a quick rinse before adding it into your worm bin, then that problem is solved. Then you still want to bury your food and all of those things.
Okay. So question for you, how did people know that you were into worms? Because on your previous videos, like I said, I went back and looked at your videos and stuff. And how did people know? Because you've done a lot of workshops and news reports and interviews. So how did people get in touch with you? And how did you get your name out there for people to know that you had worms?
Yes, thank you. I chose media as my marketing strategy. Early on, I just thought, you know, in 2002, when I started my business, a couple of things happened. Our landfill closed. So that when the landfill closes for, you know, Toronto's 6 million people in the Greater Toronto area, half living in condos, townhouses, you know, without space to do outdoor composting. So when the landfill for the largest city in a country closes, it's a huge smelly problem. So although, you know, Canada's second largest country in the world, we couldn't find a new place to site a new landfill.
Okay.
So we started exporting garbage to the US.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh. So how many people were on your team before you got, you know, when you were small, how many people were connected with your vision?
We're still small. It's my husband and I, and then all of our worms.
Okay. All right.
So, you know, I started out and my goal was to put worms in every living space, every school, every home, every apartment, every business. So we no longer have to truck around this beautiful resource. Manage it on site. I know, you know, manage it on site, turn it into black gold, grow some delicious food, you know, give it away. If you don't have a garden, that's fine. Give it to a gardener. You know, it's valuable. And we're wasting so much money trucking it around. So my goal was worms everywhere. And then I realized, oh, shoot, people don't buy what they need. They buy what they want.
That's right. I definitely agree with you on that. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Robert Duffy asks, would ladybirds, which naturally kill aphids, help?
Yeah, absolutely. Would they help with the fruit flies? Yes. Although I don't know about where you are, Robert, but we have this invasive, like ladybird or what else do you call them? Ladybugs that actually bite. So they would be a nuisance. You wouldn't want to have those in your house. But yes, they would definitely. I imagine you're talking about the fruit flies.
Okay.
Yeah.
African Dreamer said that's true. When I'm in Africa, there's fruit flies all on the fruits, which I definitely understand that.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about that? My advice would be to freeze your fruits and vegetables and thaw them out. Is that what you do as well, Cathy?
That's a great thing to do. Oh, that definitely speeds up the process. Just people have to remember to thaw it first. You know, it's not like take it out of the freezer and put it in the worm bin and boom.
That's right. That's right.
And I know it sounds logical, but you know, we have so many things going on. So if this isn't people's forte, they're just taking on a worm bin. There are you know, quite a few steps for success.
That's right. That's right. So how did your business get started? Actually, did you like have so many worms and then the herd multiplied, or did you buy worms and sell them that way, or how did you get started?
Yeah, we kind of buy and sell them. We I would say that's what I was going to say. I thought it was going to be so easy to just sell worms by the pound and everybody would buy them because we need them. Yeah. Right. So then I realized, oh man, people are afraid of worms like I was. And I have a psych degree, so I'm really understanding that many people have been traumatized as children with worms. Okay. Like a sibling or someone in the schoolyard after a rain and they get chased around. So if you're afraid of something, you're not looking to that to be a solution. You're not. So so I started to do school workshops. I was like, oh, how am I going to do this? Okay. And then I started to educate. So I really just decided at that point, like I do sell worms, I sell bins, but my main gig is education. And over 75,000 students have seen my presentation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, thank you. And I chose media as my marketing strategy. So I've had over 300 articles, TV, a documentary. Okay, so back to 2002, our landfill closed and we had a garbage strike.
Oh, no.
Right? So we don't have a landfill and our workers are on strike and it's summertime, right? And Toronto is supposedly a world-class city, not if you got piles of stinking garbage.
That's right. So, what type of worms do you sell? Do you have like Canadian night crawlers as well? Do you sell those?
I don't.
Okay.
I only have red wigglers. The Canadian night crawlers are you actually can't breed them in captivity. Those are mostly picked by the bait shops. Yeah.
So you have over 20 years experience. Am I correct?
Yes. I know. Can you imagine? I started to do workshops and I was like, now I just have to wait for the kids to have buying power. Yeah, like 20. No, I was like, I just have to wait 20 years for the kids to have buying power. I'm like, hey, I made it.
That's right. I hear that. I hear you. I definitely agree. So, when you like do your workshops, how do you promote it? Do you have to put flyers out? Is it a free workshop, or do they just donate, or how does it work for you?
Oh no, I'm well paid for my workshops.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, that's my right. It's my kind of a intellectual property. Not really. It's just the way I bring it. I'm animated and I'm fun and I'm passionate about this. So I think anyway. So I think it's valuable. And then I'll set the classroom up with a worm bin, and so then they continue the lesson. You know, it's not just you come for a show and then the end. No, now you're worm farmers and you need to tend to the worms.
So you prepare like so many worms in a bin? How do you work it? Like when students come, do you bring like all the bins for them? They prepare everything?
Exactly. I bring everything and then they set it up. I direct them and it's super fun. I mean, the kids love it. They really love it. And I do like kindergarten, the juniors, and then I go right up to, oh my gosh, all the way up to nursing homes or university. And it's the same presentation. It's hilarious to me because it's really, vermicomposting 101 each time. Just as I go up in the grades, I increase more knowledge, like about, the value of these beautiful creatures, and the work that they are here to do. I just feel like I'm just a talking worm.
I hear you. Back in the day, they said that we should not put meat in our worm farms. But I have a friend, her name is Kinetic Worms and Garden, and she put a pork chop inside of an urban worm bag, buried it deep, and they consume the meats.
Of course.
So yeah, but we don't want to put those in our bins because of the smell and pests and rodents, correct?
Absolutely. So you can put almost anything in there, of course. The challenge with meat in a home bin, in a small, like a Rubbermaid or something, or one of, any of the containers, is that the meat has a tendency to rot faster than the worms can keep up with it. So it's not that they're vegetarian. They're definitely not, right? They get us in the end.
That's right. That is right. So, what would you encourage someone to do to get a worm farm started today? How would you, encourage me to do that? If I was like, they're ugly, they wiggle, and I don't want to keep them in my house and stuff,
Well, I start with, because I realized after all these years that you can't talk about what people need. Oh, you need this. This is really good, because then people are like, la, 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 and they tune out, right? So we need to approach it because managing our food waste is really one way that we can mitigate climate change.
Okay.
Right? Like just everybody eats, so everybody produces food scraps. And it's a resource. It's really something valuable. So it's just turning our mind around so that we realize, like, we call it garbage, but we only call it garbage because we throw it away.
Yeah.
And there's no away, by the way.
That's right. That's
right. The environment is us.
That's right.
Right.
Yes,
you and I are breathing the same air eventually.
That's right. I agree. Let's see. African Dreamer said night crawlers used for fishing back in Texas. How do they get there, and are they indigenous to the South?
Oh, great question. So, a lot of our Canadian night crawlers are exported. Texas, like to the fishing states. I don't know that Texas, I guess it is. Yeah, about 1 million Canadian night crawlers are exported annually to the US. So are they indigenous? They're not. Apparently, I don't know if I believe this, but they say that there was no worms in North America after the Ice Age. I'm not sure that I believe it because they're everywhere now, but it's possible, right? It's nature.
That's right. So for your business, do you deliver to the US or is it just Canada overall? How does it work? Can you order from, okay.
So we ship mostly the worms. We just ship across Canada, and local is better. If people can pick up, that's even the best option. So that we're not harming these little critters. If people can get them local, best. We do export our our composter out there and our other products, but just not the worms.
Okay.
But you keep asking me questions, AJ, and I'm sorry I'm chatty Cathy. So you're asking how do I let teachers know? I've had all this media, so and I'm very clever at getting media. When I exhibit at events, the media is often there covering it. I don't care if I'm having a bad hair day or I have foreign poo on my face. If I see the media, like they have their badge, I'm like, if they go by my booth, I'll chase after them.
Okay.
Like, hey, you need to know about this. This is important. And then they love filming the worms, right? Of course, I always have a little mitt full of worms.
Yeah.
Right. So anyone watching and you have a worm business, just be clever because this is a solution for right now. We need this. We need more people doing this. We need people to be aware of it because 20 years in, I thought it would be a household word by now.
Yeah.
And do it or not, I don't care. But I really want everyone to know that it's an option.
That's right.
Right. So then we can't say, oh, I've lived in an apartment for 10 years. I didn't know I could do this. Now you know. Choose wisely, folks, because we only have one planet.
That's right. So were you ever embarrassed to talk about worms starting out? Were you like for me, before I made YouTube videos, I made a decision I'm going to upload a video, and then from there I just started growing my channel with the community and stuff. But I was embarrassed at first, because I thought people would think I was dirty, or you know what I mean, when it comes to worms. But how did you feel at first when you were sharing your experience with others? Were you kind of embarrassed at first, or?
No, actually I wasn't. I kind of I like being different, so this was something unique.
Okay.
And just things. I'm intuitively guided, so I feel like the universe gave me all these messages, and I just started my business, and I really believed that again, our landfill closed, and we started exporting garbage 1,000 trucks a week. AJ, 1,000 going from Toronto to Michigan. I mean, it's just when you think about that, when I think about that, it just my heart aches because I think about the emissions from all those trucks. Just the whole thing is it's not responsible. It's very irresponsible, in fact, because it's easy to pay money, right? This was our governments. This was the Canadian government and the US government. The Canadian government said, we have a problem. We have all this trash we got to get rid of. And Michigan said, we lost our automotive industry. We need a new industry. So they chose trash. Michigan is the trash capital now. And they get trash from all over right? They're around the states.
Yeah.
Right? So it was just a business exchange, right? They took our trash, but we paid a lot of money for the privilege.
So let me see real quick. African Dreaming said worm people are amazing. Keep teaching. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah,
speaking my love language, African.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, I have the opportunity to do a workshop next Wednesday at my YMCA. It'll be my first one, so I'm just gonna keep it simple. Show some worms. Recommend and encourage the book Worms Eat My Garbage, and just tell them basically how to get started. So do you have any tips for someone that's doing a workshop?
Absolutely. What age are they? Are they just kids or
So
families?
this might be seniors. This might be seniors
Seniors.
coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So seniors that live in still in their own residence, or they're
Yeah.
or all mix.
All mixed. That's our local community. It's during like work hours, so
Okay.
I scheduled a day off to take care of this and stuff. So,
Oh, that's so
yeah.
beautiful. I love it. Oh, it's so beautiful because people are fascinated by it. They may be creeped out, but
Uh-huh.
so take your worm bin, of course, like your thing, so you can show it an active bin, and
Okay.
then just show the process. I usually take when I was starting out, I would take 2 bins. One with dry bedding, like your shredded paper, soil, eggshells,
Okay.
your bottle of water,
Mm-hmm.
and say, talk about all the ingredients, why you're adding them.
Okay.
And then I would have a bag of food, like, that a pound of worms and their descendants, half their weight per day, whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I would have a bag of food and then I have a picture of a pound of worms.
Okay.
And you can take that from my website if you want. It's on my website. Right. So I show the picture of the pound of worms, and then I hold up the bag of food and I say, this is a week's worth of food for a pound of worms. Like, it's impressive. Like maybe people produce more than what a pound of worms can eat. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So at least you can manage some of your scraps. And then as the worms increase, you can increase the volume.
That's right.
Right. So
Yeah.
yes. And then have a second bin that has, that's finished. So you can say you start like this with,
Mhm.
oh, sorry, I'm holding up. You hold up the one bin that has just the shredded paper and all the ingredients. This is how you start.
Okay.
This is how and then show the finished bin. And then I even show how to harvest, like just with I'll usually have a lid, from a bucket,
Yeah.
just so it's manageable for me
That's right.
as the educator, right? And then
Okay.
I'll just have a little pile of castings on the lid. So I say, when you're going to harvest, you dump your bin on the plastic sheet, but just as an example, and just show
Mhm.
them. And then just talk about how you quickly harvest. You just take them through the whole process.
Mm-hmm. So good advice. Thank you for that. Okay.
Yeah, good luck. Have fun. That's what I would say. Just enjoy and have fun.
Thank you. Yeah, and if I don't know the answer, I'll say I don't know the answer. I can direct it to your channel.
Right?
All the
Yeah.
information, or there's other people that can help as well. So, what happens if you never harvest your castings? What could happen?
You know what? I want to hear a fabulous story.
Okay.
I think it's fabulous. I think the worm people will like it. When I the ones listening, that is. Hello, everybody. So when I started my worm business, a woman called me and she said she'd had her worm bin for 10 years.
Ooh.
And, it was becoming a bit much for her. She was an older woman. And did I want the worm bin? And I was like, oh my gosh, somebody's been doing it for 10 years. I need to meet this woman. So I said, yes. I didn't really care about the worm bin. I just wanted to meet this woman, right? Okay. So she said, let me get the the compost out, and then I'll call you. Okay. So she called me 2 weeks later. She said, I got the compost, but she said the worms died. Like there was no worms. It's okay. I thought it was poetic. She
Yeah.
bought a pound of worms. I say they live up to 10 years. Like, it's really funny. Right. She bought a pound of worms. She managed them for 10 years. When she was done. Anyway, so I wasn't sad. I just thought, wow, that's really cool, kind of.
Yeah.
And then she said, do you want the container? Right. I didn't want the container, but I said, yes, I wanted to meet this woman.
Yeah.
So when I arrived at her house, she opened the door and she was in a wheelchair. This woman had MS. So older woman, I don't know, I would say maybe early 80s or late 70s. I'm not sure. I'm not a great judge of age. But there she was. And I thought, and I had apologies for anyone, I don't want to offend anyone, but my thought was, and I didn't say it out loud, was, wow, like, look at you with your own physical challenges and still caring for the planet. How, like, I was like, wow, I was moved. Anyway, so I said, wow. So I was asking her questions. When was the last time you harvested? Back to your question. And she said, I've never harvested.
Oh, okay.
10 years, right? Wow. So oh my gosh, this woman was so beautiful. I loved her. She was like, she said, no, I would, she said, I stored my worm bin under the bed in the guest bedroom.
Okay.
And she said, when people would stay here, sometimes I would tell them, sometimes I wouldn't. And I was like, yeah, I bet when it was like time for them to go, you'd be like, oh, but P.S. there's worms under your bed. Right? Oh my gosh. And so she said, she would pull out the worm bin, take out the compost that she needed for her garden.
Okay.
And then just keep, right? Because the worms reduce the volume. They manage their population based on available space and available food. Mm-hmm. Right? As long as you keep feeding them, they're surface dwellers. I was just like, okay, so you don't really have to harvest twice a year or whatever we say.
Yeah, that is amazing. But when you think about it, it's like, okay, do you think if she would have harvested castings, the worms would have just kept multiplying as well? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, that's good. Because I never really thought about that till you said that.
As long as you keep on, like people say, oh, I don't have time to harvest, but it's time to harvest. What do? I just say, hey, stop it. I say, just add some more like bedding on top and then just, have another layer, like sort of create another whole tier.
Okay. Yeah. And you don't really have to like sift the castings. If you want to, you just take half of them out and put them in another bin or something,
Absolutely.
So there's always ways to go around the sifting part, or just some people put like them into their garden, the castings as well, and just keep fresh bedding in. So there's always ways to reintroduce worms to the ecosystem again.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I looked on your website, because when I touch base with people, I like to connect with. Take your time. Do what you have to do.
It's my cat.
You know what happens? I got a cat. He hasn't tried to get up yet. I'm like shocked. But I see you have in the US we have like worm bin 360s.
Yes.
Yours is like a cube or something. You have a different shape.
It's a functional piece of furniture. It's a stool. It's something you can actually sit on. It's really it's the neatest worm bin. For places that are space challenged, think about a New York apartment, right? Okay. Right downtown New York, they're small.
Okay.
And large urban centers, right? They're jamming all these apartments and stuff in there. They don't have room necessarily. They may want to do worm composting, but they're like, I literally I don't have an inch. That's so it's like, good. Okay. So just take out one of your chairs and now you do.
That's good. So what you're saying, I'm repeating what you're saying. Everyone has the potential to start a worm farm, no matter apartment, trailer, teepee, or wherever you live. You can do it. Right? So the common feedback is, I don't have room. I don't have time. But like you said, as long as you just give them food and bedding, they'll be okay. Just feed them. And they'll be good to go,
Feed them and leave them.
Yeah, they're not like dogs where you got to take them out all the time, They can go, I say if you can go on vacation for about a month, as long as you leave enough bedding and food scraps, you'll be good to go, right?
Yeah, people say, what if I'm going on vacation? I say, well, have a great time, first of all. And then I say, if you're going for too long, like just hire a worm sitter. Like you might have someone come in and water your plants.
I hear you.
Have them come and toss some apple cores in your worm bin.
That's right. Do you mind if I add people to the stream, Cathy? Will that be a problem for you?
No, come on.
Okay, I'm going to add some people just in case they want to come in. There's a guy from Northeast Worms. I touched base with him. Let me see if this works. But yeah, there's a lot of good people in here. Everyone in this community, it's like they're good people.
Down to earth.
Yeah, we're down to earth. We don't keep secrets, if we don't know.
We're in the earth.
Yeah. I always say we don't give you all those secret ingredients in our chicken, our chicken spices. We'll give you 10 out of the 12. But yeah, we just tell you enough to help each other out, and
yeah, love it.
But I've told other people before when I started live streaming, I just not like to tell people stuff because I used to be intimidated by competition, because you don't want someone to know what you know. But once I got older, I'm like, no, you want people to know what you know. You want you want them to be better than you. You know.
We need to collaborate. We're not competition. We're collaborators. We're cooperators. Like, I can't speak in all the schools, so we definitely need more people speaking, right? We need more people growing. We need, if we truly want this to be a global movement, we need everybody doing their part. It's that. I think that's the thing about this industry. I think if most people are heart-centered and in it, because it's I don't know how you're doing money-wise. It's not a ton of cash that you make.
Yeah.
It's really a passion project, but that you feel good. I sleep well at night because I feel like I'm making a difference.
Yeah, that's right. I'm putting something right here. But
Feed 'em and leave 'em.
But when I bought my first herd of worms, my wife and family didn't want them in the house. Okay, I kept them outside. And living in the Midwest, they froze to death. And I felt like crap. You know what I mean? Because it was an investment. I'm like, that's money I threw out the window. Yeah. So I snuck them in, and then now I got like red wigglers, European night crawlers. I got 4 bins active, and I could have 2 more. But there's potential, because I want to. When it comes to worms, you just can't have enough. You got so much garbage you want them to consume that it's an addictive hobby or a business that when it comes to worms.
It's a beautiful thing. It really is it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. I love that. It's funny because I have people come to pick up worms. I don't have a storefront, so they come to my house, and couples will come. It's not gender. It's not men or women. It's almost, I don't even know. I haven't done a poll, but a couple will arrive, and one will say, "Oh, they're so excited! It's like they're picking up a puppy. They're like, oh, I'm getting my worms, yay!" And they can't wait. And the other one's got their hand on the door, like they can't wait to leave. So I talk to them. I say, thank you for supporting your spouse, friend, whatever. And then I say, can you smell anything? And we're right in my kitchen, and I have 3 worm bins right in my kitchen. And then they say no, and I say, come and have a look. And I take the lid off my bin, and like the shoemaker, you don't have your own shoes aren't made. Yeah. So I just literally throw the food in, right? So, so when you open it up, you can see rotting food. Like it's a counter message because it looks like it should smell.
That's right.
It does not.
I know, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So then the people are like, I say, come close, like have a sniff, like get as close as you want. Don't worry, it's worm poo. I do play around with people, right? I don't take myself too serious. Come on.
That's right. You gotta have fun. You gotta enjoy what you do.
Especially if you have worms. Not if you have them. Like if you have worms, I mean, not in your belly.
Oh man, you're awesome.
It wasn't always this way though, AJ. I must say, like 20 years, I'm sure I make it look easy.
Yeah.
It was not. It was pretty lonely at the beginning. Just because I'm a comedian, so I would go to networking events, and I'd stand up and I'd say, "Are you concerned about the environment? Wonder what more you can do? Get worms." And I kind of thought everyone knew what I did, but they just were having fun with me. They just thought my energy was so fun, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And then when I presented at the chamber or at the meeting, then people were like, oh, it's composting inside, and the worm. Oh, I didn't get it before. It's like, oh my gosh, like I've known you for 5 years.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's awesome. Yeah. A guy at May's Homestead Chronicle said, "What a strange community, but that's my kind of community. It's strange." Yep. Yep. He's got a farm. He moved to Texas, and he's got like chicken, what do you call it, shavings on the ground, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of red wigglers underneath that chicken manure stuff. So he's got worms galore.
Beautiful.
He has food for his chickens and all that.
Right?
That is
Oh, and when you feed worms to your chickens get stronger, the eggs are stronger, the meat is better, everything is, it's good. Yeah.
that's right.
Though everybody loves worms. It's so funny how the bipeds are afraid of worms, but all the animal, the people,
Mhm.
all the animals, they love worms, like raccoons, skunks, moles, voles, mice, rats. I mean, probably, I don't know, snakes, I'm not sure. Frogs, right? All of these critters, they know. They're like, oh, robins, of course.
Yeah, they
How could I forget the robins?
You're right. Oh man, the early bird gets the worm.
Yeah, and the early worm gets eaten.
That's right. Yeah, they're the most defensive creature to mankind.
Right. So, at the beginning, I really kind of think that I'm like a worm in that I'm very sensitive and I'm empathic and all those things. I was always told, oh, grow a thicker skin, the world's a harsh place, stop crying, all of those things, right? As a young girl. And now I realize, wow, here I am, like I've chosen this thing that makes me stand out, but then it's something that people are afraid of. And when I'm exhibiting, earlier on, like now I'm like, get out of here. I put my Wonder Woman pose on. I'm like, come on, you need this. Get out of here. Like, buy or move along. Don't say negative things. Like, I don't need your negativity.
Mm-hmm.
If you're afraid of worms and you don't want to be here, then just move along. That's okay. I won't be offended.
That's right.
But at the beginning, right? At the beginning, I felt like, because worm is kind of a bad word, right? Like can of worms. Whenever someone says, oh, now you've gone and opened a can of worms, I always go, yay, can of worms. I want to make it a good phrase.
That's right. That's right.
Right. But right now it's a negative thing. Now it's like,
right.
Now you've done it. And right, computer viruses, sometimes they're called worms, tapeworms, like all of these worms are bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt at the beginning, people would come to my table and start telling me their stories about, how they were traumatized or how kind of everyone hates worms or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like how oblivious people are when you're there bearing, like, I think if people have never done exhibiting, they go to these things and maybe they think people are paid, or I don't know what they think about entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
When you're an employee, you have a different mentality, and it's fine. It's not right or wrong. It's just when you come to these things, there we are as entrepreneurs, laying like it's our life's work. There we are with our little table, and oh, please buy something from me, so I can eat.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. I definitely hear you on that. I understand completely.
But definitely don't say mean things, right? Like,
that's right.
If you don't have something nice to say, like your mom used to say, right? Don't say anything.
That's right. That's right. So how do you have your booth set up then? You have your table, you have your advertisement, and then people just start, like, how people do, like, look at sideways so they don't really make eye contact? Do you really, like, just say, hey, I'd like to show you something, or how do you?
Yeah. So here's a trick. Like at those tables, people attract people.
That's right.
So if you can get somebody and get engaged with somebody, my husband and I do very good at these things because I'm chatty Cathy, so I'll engage with people. And as I'm demonstrating, I'm showing them and and they're asking me questions, and I intentionally keep them there. And then I will tell them stories. I'll like regale them with things. So it's fun, right? They've come to this fair or whatever it is to have fun. So I make it fun for them, and then people come because if there's nobody at the booth, and we're all the same. Like if we're there, we're like, oh, everyone feels desperate, right? Like you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to talk to all these people if I walk down this aisle. So when there's people, it gives us the security that we can listen in, but we don't have to buy anything because we're not talking to them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like from a psychological perspective?
Yeah.
So then when you have people, like you want to keep them there, and you just like, so you never, this is a tip. This is one of those tips. You know how people are like, oh, here's my brochure. When people arrive, no, you do that at the end. You do that when you want to get rid of them. Right? Because if you give them something, then they're like, oh, okay, thank you for the information. Bye-bye.
Okay.
And I didn't know that because I have a really cute, like, advertising, like little giveaways, and so I would be like wanting to give them away. It was so clever. Here, have my clever advertising, and then people are like, oh, thanks, and then they'd get on to the next booth. I'm like, oh wait, but wait, there's more.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome tip. I mean, I really appreciate that. So, how did you get your husband on board?
So, the universe is a trickster, I tell you. So 2002, back to 2002, I chose media as my marketing strategy, garbage strike. So I was watching the news and people were lining up for about 3 hours to drop off their garbage at the transfer station.
Oh, wow.
Right? And I was like, those people don't compost. Because if you compost, it takes the stink out of garbage. You don't care how long they're on strike. Yeah. Right? 3 hours. I was like, what the heck? Who wants to sit in a lineup idling for 3 hours just to drop off your garbage? Like, come on. Don't you have a life?
Yeah, that's right. No, I hear you.
Right? So I was like, I'm going to go on a road trip. I'm going to take my worms on a road trip and go and ask questions to those people. I need to do some education to all those people that are idling in line. They have nothing to do anyway.
That's right. No,
so I sent out press releases to the to all the Toronto media outlets.
Oh, good for you.
And 5 minutes after sending my press release to the Toronto Star, a reporter called me and said, thank you for your press release.
Oh.
Last week I did an article about composting, but I forgot about the apartment dwellers, right? Half the population. So he said, when you're done at the transfer station, come on down to the Star. I want to interview you. The Toronto Star is the largest paper in Canada, so it's a big deal.
Wow.
So I was like, oh yeah, great. I could just go there, but I'm curious. So I wanted to know why people, anyway, so that was a big story. Yeah. And I got my first article in the Toronto Star, July 18th, 2002. Awesome. So I called up my husband at work and I was like, yay, I got an article in the Toronto Star. Woo, I'm famous. And he said, oh my gosh, are you ready? He said, oh, like he probably said, that's nice or something. He said, I'm on my way home. I just got downsized. And I was like, oh, no, we have no income. Now I'm selling worms by the pound. Ah!
Yeah.
Scary. And so he started his own business. He had a web business for a while. And then we just merged forces. Like he's the head worm technician. And
okay. Awesome.
Yeah, he's my web guy. So he does my website and that stuff. So it's a nice partnership. You know, we've been together like, I think this is 34. This will be 34 years of marriage.
Okay. So how many worms right now do you have on hand? Like a rough estimate, like say like I wanted to order some for my community. How many pounds could you provide right off the bat?
At any given time, we would have about 50 pounds of worms.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
And like I said, you're focused on red wigglers and European night crawlers? Is that
no, not European night crawlers. Okay. I used to, but now I'm exclusive now.
Okay. I understand. So I'm trying to think.
And the Euros are fine. The Euros are great. Really, the Euros are fine too. And I did have both. And there was a big demand for both. And then it seemed that the Euros fell off and I lost my supplier. So I wasn't able to get more Euros.
Okay.
So then I just thought, okay, I'll just stick with the Reds then. It's fine.
Okay. I got a few other people. If you have questions for Cathy, feel free to ask her because she has a lot of knowledge, over 20 years experience as a worm farmer. So I'm appreciative that she has taken time out, to connect with me today. And that's awesome, you know. So like I said, I'm really appreciative of you taking time out to do this out of your busy schedule.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm chatty, Cathy, so I love talking. My husband's a quiet guy. That's probably why it works, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, but I did have some major fails over the years for sure that I would love to share to save people the you know, you don't need to have the same experience I had. So I was doing you know, all kinds of research at the beginning. It was kind of fun. I got access to some horse manure, and so I was doing horse manure research, like composting, and then I was doing I was collecting coffee grounds from our local coffee shop. And I collected 1,000 pounds of coffee grounds from one coffee shop. So if someone's looking for a nitrogen source, a really easy thing that doesn't attract fruit flies, it doesn't need to be chopped up or anything. Coffee grounds are great, just be mindful that that's pure nitrogen.
Okay.
Okay, so there I was. I had my worms were growing in horse manure, and then I was adding the coffee grounds. That's what I was feeding. I was like, this will be great. Oh, no fruit flies. This will be so great. Just keep it moist. Oh, this will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then I killed my worms.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was like, oh my gosh. I wanted it to be the horse manure.
Yeah.
I really thought, oh, because they probably gave worming meditation. Like, not that
Mm-hmm.
I did it. I didn't do anything. No, not me.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand.
I did it. No, I totally did it.
Yeah.
So I was growing them in horse manure, and then I added coffee grounds, like lots of coffee grounds, and they're the same material.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Right, like pretty much, right? There was some
Okay.
straw in there, so there was a little bit of carbon, but horse manure is pretty nitrogen rich.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think that I nitrogened my worms to death, and gosh, that was a sad day. Yeah.
So you think it heated up too as well with the nitrogen with coffee grounds?
It might have heated up, but I think it was just too acidic, and it was just the wrong environment. They just they just couldn't live in what I was giving them.
I understand. We just figured out recently that coffee grounds aren't grit; it's a food source, And
not only, no.
Yeah, and all you do is listen to, like back in the day, you watch videos and you believe it, then you start to learn and educate more and figure, okay, this is a myth, this is true and stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of things that have been proven a myth, because back in the day, people weren't more risk takers as we are today than they were back then. I'm glad that worms have the potential to eat a lot more stuff now than not.
And the worms are coming back. I mean, whenever somebody calls me and says that something happened to their worms, and they feel sad, because I'm so passionate, and what I say to people is, even in their death, the worms are doing their work, in that they're still nourishing the right, they're still feeding the other critters even in their death.
That's right.
So it's, and not that it's great, because now they're not alive anymore, but yeah. And I laugh a lot at anyone that's watching thinking, oh my gosh, she laughs so much. I'm a laughter yoga teacher as well.
Laughter is the best medicine. A lot of people don't like to laugh. They're all bitter and woe is me. And no, I like positive energy when it comes to connecting with people in this community. It's like, it's crazy. There's a guy, his name's Steve from the garden. He's cooking dinner, but he stopped by to say hi.
What you cooking, Steve?
Yeah, what's cooking? He's a gardener. He's been planting his seedlings and things, and we're just connecting off each other, learning stuff about gardening. I'm getting more involved with that now, and so I got definitely a lot to learn,
And that's the beautiful thing about having a platform, is that you get to share your knowledge, and it's global. I mean, I think this cuckoo time is a bit of a blessing.
That's right.
Like a real big blessing. I've met so many super cool people during this time, which otherwise I would have just been in my hamster wheel in my own neighborhood, right?
I understand that. And speaking about YouTube, I noticed your channel, you're stagnant now. You no longer upload videos. It's been a while on your channel. You have 515 subscribers, if I'm correct.
Oh, I'm using Rick's channel. I wasn't able to I don't even have a cell phone, so technology isn't.
I understand.
That's not me. Yeah, that's my other one. I don't know how to direct it. Maybe I'll have to talk to somebody to see how I can connect those two.
I understand.
Thank you, though.
Yeah, gardener from the state, Garden State Gardener said hi, guys. So, what other advice would you be able to give to someone that's just starting a worm farm? If you're scared of worms, they won't bite you. If they get out of the bin, they won't come upstairs. And I said in my video, crawl in your bed. They'll just dry out like beef jerky, worm jerky, and then you just scoop them up, throw them in the trash can. So, what advice would you give to encourage someone today to start their worm farm?
Yeah, thank you. I would say on the days that it's really tough and you're like, this is too hard, I can't do this anymore. Get out in the forest, go for a walk. And somebody gave me that advice at the beginning. You know, if you're working on your own, it can be lonely. It can be hard. You don't have anyone to bounce ideas off, and so you're just in your head, like all these, that voice in your head that tells you you're not enough, right? So get out. That's really good advice, because when you're blocked, when you can't, like if you say you're trying to create a post or you're trying to generate something and it's just not coming, you're just not, stop resisting, get outside and stay with it. I think that, again, the universe is such a trickster. When you say you want to do something, the universe is like, are you sure? And you get messages like, oh, are you sure? You get obstacles like, oh, you get this gig booked and you're like so excited about a gig that's coming up, and then oh, they canceled the day before. No. And you're all upset, and it's like, no, maybe something else can come at that moment. Like, we don't know. We're not in control of anything, like the invisible, we don't know. Whoops.
You're fine. Life happens. No, it happens.
Oh, there we go.
That's how life is. Things happen. We just got to keep going with the flow,
Cats and coals and cat calls. Yeah, I would say don't take yourself serious. Surround yourself by awesome people. Have a network of people that you can go to on those rough days, because we're all going to have them. Like, we're people, and we ping off each other. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and I would say don't watch all that stuff. Like, we got to know what's going on, absolutely.
That's right.
But we don't need all the details.
That's right.
We don't need all the visuals. We don't need to see everything. We absolutely don't, because you can't not see it once you've seen it. It's there.
That's right. So this is a huge. Hold on for 1 second. Let me see what he said real quick. One of the great things about YouTube gardening community, you can bounce ideas off each other. That's so true.
Right. But YouTube is fine. I would say even have people that you can, like, locally, someone that you can either phone or that you can even better get together in person and, just even hash some ideas out or not, even just go and have fun, like just to get out of your head for a little bit, Right.
So do you guys have access to cardboard? Some countries don't have cardboard. Does Canada? People
are calling us China. Did I say that out loud?
I didn't hear anything.
Yes, it's so beautiful. I don't know if I'm cheap or I'm just very frugal. I'm just really, wise with my resources. But I see stuff everywhere, and so we have. Do you have dollar stores in US?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So dollar store is a fabulous place for cardboard, right? Because imagine all that stuff comes from China, and it all comes in boxes.
That's right.
So they're giving away boxes all the time. Like, we have a pretty good recycling program, and I know they pay for cardboard, but the dollar store, like, imagine, right? The same with like the drugstores. They're always opening like all their toothpastes and shampoos. That all comes in boxes.
That's right.
So I don't buy boxes.
Okay.
Like, so for shipping?
Yeah.
No, I'm opposed. I don't want to buy boxes. Why would I buy boxes when they're giving them away at dollar store?
That's awesome.
Or not giving them, right? Like, so you gotta. Thank goodness I have a psych degree, because I think it really has helped me realize everything's about people.
That's right. I agree.
Right? It's all people, and you have to know the people.
Yep,
so just go and make relationships. If somebody says no, that's just go to somebody else. Go to the next.
That's all you can do.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many dollar stores. Go to the next dollar store. If they're like, no, we got to put them all in the box out back. Okay, well, I'll go to the next store then. They probably want me to buy stuff from them too.
Yeah. This is what I heard. Yeah, this is what I heard for a business concept. It takes. It takes like 10 people to get one yes. Out of 10 people, usually 9 will say no, but that 10th one will say yes.
I would say that the numbers are even bigger. Like
Okay.
you probably have to talk to even more people because social media and so many streams, we're just bombarded with so much. Like it used to be 7 hits, like that people have to, in order for people to notice you. And it's something like 23 or 24 hits now.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, and don't get discouraged, people, because you just need to be consistent. Choose your platform if you're promoting a business, and stick with it. Like just provide content, and people will follow you, and because it really is about people do business with who they know, like, and trust.
That's right.
Like bottom line, that's it. Back to the coffee grounds. When I did my coffee ground research, my little town, it's a teeny town I live in. It's growing. It's getting bigger than I like, but never mind. It's like nobody knows how to make coffee in this town. At one time, I think we had 8 coffee shops, and so we're kind of like a drive-through town, and everyone just buys coffee. And so I was like, there's one chain, Tim Hortons, I named after a hockey player. And they're number one. People say they put stuff in their coffee, like to make people addicted. I have no idea why they're so busy, but so I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to them to get coffee grounds because they produce the most.
That's right.
So I kind of thought I was doing them a favor. Like I'm gonna come and and I wasn't charging them. I'm just gonna come and take them for you, so you won't have to pay to dispose of them. I'll just come and get them. So it's a franchise. So here's another tip. Folks that are listening, if you're dealing with a franchise, know that they have to deal with head office. So I went there and I said, hi, I'm a worm farmer and I need some food for my worms and I would love to come and collect your coffee grounds. Like, would you be able to collect them for me? And they said, we're going to have to talk to head office. I mean, right? I was like, you can't make a decision?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. All right. So I ended up going, I was like, okay, naive me, it's the beginning. It's fine. I don't have any customers right now. So I just have time to go and get rejected. It's fine. Right. So I ended up going back 4 times. The 4th time they were probably like, oh, here she comes again. What are we going to tell her now? Because they kept saying, oh, we haven't talked to head office yet. I'm like, get out of here. You talk to them every day.
Exactly. That's true. I agree.
Right? You're somehow, right? Anyway, whatever. Anyway, don't lie to me.
Right. So, I agree.
Right, be upfront. Like just tell me no. Tell me no. I don't care. Man, stop wasting my time. Really, is what I'm thinking now. Now looking back, I'm like, they wasted my time.
Yeah,
anyway,
I definitely agree with you.
4th time, so they said, oh, okay, we talked to head office and there's a written policy. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. There's a written policy that we have to throw our coffee grounds in the garbage.
I've heard that too.
Like, get out of here.
Yeah,
so I do a lot of school workshops. So I say to the kids, like the high school kids, I'm like, okay, so here's the thing. Tim Hortons is going to be producing a lot of coffee grounds. They're the number 1 shop in Canada. Okay, so they're producing tons and tons of coffee grounds. So were they like at the meeting going, okay, what can we do for our coffee grounds? Like, we're going to be producing a lot. Come on, I want to go home. Can somebody make a decision? Hey, why don't we just throw them away? Yeah. Yes. Can somebody write that down so we don't forget?
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
Come on. So I said, here was my next line. I said, I'll take all your garbage. Oh, thank goodness they said no to that one. I was like, am I nuts?
Exactly. I guess they thought you were going to eat the coffee grounds.
I don't know what they thought, but anyway, liability, right? Insurance.
I heard that too. Yep, I was denied access to the grounds too. I'm like, okay, whatever.
That's okay. So what did I say? 8 shops. Actually, it was 7. So I was like, 7 shops, 3 Tim Hortons. That leaves 4 more opportunities.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So there was another shop, like there's another kind of expression that is, no, what are you looking at? No. Okay, thank you.
That's all right.
Oh my gosh, what fun. Thank goodness I don't get thrown off track. Where was I? No. So here's another thing about business. If you're going to have a retail spot, location, right?
Okay.
They say that in business school.
Yeah.
So, right. So the latest when I was doing this project, we had a new coffee shop, and it was on the wrong side of the street during rush hour.
Okay.
So no one's stopping there, no one's stopping there on their way to work because it's going to be too much of a pain to go out and get back into traffic.
Yeah.
So there was this beautiful, nice new location. So I went in and I said, "Hi, I'm a worm farmer. I want to collect your coffee grounds." And I said, I chose media as my marketing strategy. And when the environmentalists find out that you're being sustainable with your coffee grounds, they're going to be flocking to your shop. Yes, they will. They'll be riding their bike or taking the bus. Oh, we didn't have a bus. They'll bring their to-go mug, right? They'll be coming. And bye, Joe. Thanks for stopping in.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, they'll be stopping in. And anyway, whatever. I was able to convince him to collect his grounds. And the slowest shop in town was producing 1,000 pounds in a month.
Oh, wow.
1,000 pounds of coffee grounds,
That's
right? Because it's wet, it's heavy,
Yeah.
but they separated them, and oh my gosh. So another piece, the coffee grounds. So my backyard smelled like a coffee shop. It was fantastic, right? I had a mountain of coffee grounds. And I was separating, I don't know why, now thinking about it, I don't know why, but I was separating the filters and the,
Oh, yeah.
right, the cart, because it's a little bit coarse, you need to cut those up. And I didn't wear gloves because I'm like, it's coffee grounds. So I'm high energy already. Man, I was like flying around. And people said to me, that coffee ground project? And I said, yes. And they said, do you wear gloves? And I said, gloves? No, it's coffee grounds. What? And they said, have you heard of the nicotine patch? Like your skin is it's so bright. And I was like,
wow.
Oh my God, like caffeine careening through my veins. It's amazing. I didn't have a heart attack.
Yeah, it got into your pores. Wow.
Like, no wonder I wasn't sleeping. I'm already high energy and I talk pretty fast. I was like, oh, my poor husband. Like that must have been awful.
So I never knew that. So when it comes to worm farming, there's either gloves or no gloves. But if you have a lot of coffee, gloves is definitely the way to go.
If you're using coffee grounds, right, just be mindful because as entrepreneurs, we need to look after ourselves, right? There's no safety net when you're on your own.
That's right. So someone had a question for you. I'm going to shift gears on you.
Okay.
Does your worm farm need to be inside during the winter?
Good question. If you want it to be productive and you're going to be going into it and, you're going to be separating worms and whatever, I would say yes. Or like there are projects in colder climates for sure that they're underground and there's ways to insulate it. I do have plans actually, the what do you call it, the blueprint or whatever for an outdoor insulated bin. It's a challenge. I would say temperature is a big factor for the worms to be reproducing and eating, right? Sorry, AJ.
No, you're fine. He lives in New Jersey. The guy that asked the question or the people.
Yeah, too cold. I would say too cold. If you really want your worms to be productive, if you want to feed them and leave them for the winter, you can so I did a cow manure project where I had my pit outside in the winter. I put a foot of straw on top and tarped it, and then it snowed a lot, so we had additional insulation. In the spring, it was fantastic. There was like massive worms because I think they absorbed the juice from the manure. I don't know what happened. They were giant. But then it rained, and it rained and rained and rained, and my worms drowned. So again, another sad story. Sorry, people.
I hear you. I never knew that. So you educate me on a lot of things. Steve from the garden said, even one of my local Starbucks, who supposedly has grounds for gardeners program, has told me no when asking for their grounds.
Oh, Starbucks. No, they're known. Oh, that's interesting. It must be that franchise then.
Yeah, it's funny, but a couple weeks or years down the road, I'm like, oh, I see why we should have gave Cathy our coffee grounds or AJ. But yeah, you got to see it to believe it, and that's what. Yeah, they don't know yet. They just have to be more educated and persuaded to recycle their compost, their coffee grounds for great fertilizer.
When people found out that I had those coffee grounds, they don't even need to be composted. That's the beautiful thing about coffee grounds. when word got out, because I chose media, right? So I did get media about that cool project. Gardeners were contacting me for their acid-loving plants like roses, azalea, blueberries. They all prefer acidic soil.
Oh.
Coffee grounds are acidic, so you can put those right in the soil and it changes the pH just like that.
That's awesome. I ordered blueberries. I'm waiting for them to come in. So that's a good thing to apply those coffee grounds to the fertilizer soil. So thank you for that. Do you have anything else you would like to add? Because I know your time is valuable and I don't want to hold you up, you know. Any advice, input, words of encouragement?
I'm not really. Just get started. You know, if you fail your first time, that's okay. Try again, as they say. You know, it does work. You know, sometimes, you know, whenever you try something new, it might not work the first time because you don't know how to do it yet. So just, you know, get some advice or, you know, just change, because when we change the conditions, even by a little bit, like make it a little bit moister or a little bit warmer or a little bit more food or whatever it is that was missing, the conditions change and then you get those beautiful bacteria in there. And I don't have anything further.
I got one more question for you. Okay. Starting out, a family of 4, how many pounds of worms should you invest in right off the bat? You know, because they say you're supposed to weigh your food scraps and divide it to find out how much your worms eat in a week. But what's your go-to amount of worms?
Yeah, no one's weighing their food, right? If people have to weigh their food and do all those things, it's like, what, you want me to weigh my food? Right? I'm not doing it. Right? It has to be easy. I would say, you know what I say to people? Either start with a pound or half a pound.
Okay.
Because the investment is a lot, like especially in Canada, you know, the worms are a lot. So I just say, like, just start, just get a bin and just slowly increase the amount that you're adding. Allow the worms to increase gradually, right? And then you let them grow and they grow and you grow with them. Yes, and that question, I get that question a lot. And what my answer to that when I'm at an event and somebody asks, you know, we're a family of 4, exactly what you just said is, first of all, it's lifestyle, right? Yeah. So vegetarians and vegans produce way more food scraps than meat and potatoes.
That's right.
If you purchase most of your food, like fast food outlets or prepared food, you're not producing as much. Okay. Right? So it's really a lot of lifestyle questions that I would probe questions. I would ask people, are you vegetarian or vegan? Okay, you probably produce more than a pound of worms can manage. Okay. You may need either a bigger bin or just manage some of your scraps.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Definitely good Q&A. I had one more, but I was listening to your story and I kind of had a brain thing, but oh man. Yeah, I'll be done. If I be done with the live, and I'm like, oh, that's what I should ask. Your channel with your husband, what is the channel? Do you like show worms on that new channel with your husband, or is it like your yoga stuff? And
it's everything. It's my working title is Cathy Crawley Laughing Bean Queen. So
okay.
So it's worms, sprouts, and laughter. So for anyone starting out, I would say, you know, have something, because the worms are, if you're selling worms, yes, Garden State Gardener, yes, please, Sunday Fun Day. I would love that.
Awesome, thank you.
Yes, please. What was I saying? No, I lost my way.
The YouTube channel. Your YouTube channel with the fun, the yoga, the laughter.
Oh yeah, so it's all of my offerings. If you're gonna be an entrepreneur, like look for something, and say you're gonna be exhibiting like I was. I mean, I don't know what people are thinking about, but have smaller price items that people can. So everybody that comes to your booth drops some money on your table.
Okay.
You know,
yeah.
or you get something from them, like their email or something, and you know, it's not just because it's business and stuff.
He's from the UK, Owen's Worm Farm. He's from the UK, but what's the difference in cost what Canadian worms and American worms?
Yeah, so in Canada, you're looking at anywhere from 100, well, maybe say from 80 to 120 a pound Canadian.
Okay.
So that's way less American.
Yeah, we're about $40 a pound in the U.S. for now.
40, yeah.
And 80 for 2 pounds.
Okay.
But every year they keep going up in price, you know. So if you're going to worm farm, now is the time to do it, because every day we put it off, it just gets crazy.
It's going to keep on going up because the younger set, they've been born into this crisis, right? It's been drilled into their heads that we have this climate crisis, that, you know, we're doomed and all this stuff. So it's hopeful, because there's a lot of young folks that want to get back into gardening. They want to get into farming. They want to get into, you know, good food, because our food is broken. So worms solve so many problems: waste management, soil production, food security. Oh, we should get worms in the UK, it looks like.
Yeah. And then
$16 a pound. So that's like, I think that's about 35 Canadian.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And the gardener, she gets like 100 people in her chat. So there's a lot of plug for your name, you know, when you're to promote you. So that's why I like to do these live streams, to get people's faces out there and get the word out a lot more. So we're like a community of worms. You just keep multiplying. And
well, I would like to invite everybody to my laughter club. I know it doesn't sound like it's worms, but laughter yoga helped me stay in my worm business.
Oh.
About 10 years in, 2012, one more person said, "Ooh, worms in the house." And I don't know why I didn't hear, you know, the 1,000 other times people said it to me, but that particular time I was like, it just hit me in the heart, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so hard.
Yeah. And
then I was introduced to laughter yoga, and it's not yoga, it's laughing. It's just, it's not jokes or comedy, it's just little games, and it's on Zoom, 9:30 a.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, every Tuesday, 30 minutes, because we need to look after ourselves. You know, when we're under stress, when we're having a mental crisis, we can't care about the planet. We can't care about anything other than, I'm in stress, I need to get out of stress. So laughter is the fastest happiness hack, and it really helps us stay more grounded.
That's what's good about worms and gardening. You got the chance to just go out and relax, you know, talk to the worms, talk to yourself, you know, and that's what just makes the world a better place. Tana Home Gardening said, hope we're all doing well. So good to have you here. But if you haven't already known, this is Cathy Nesbitt. She's a world-known, famous worm farmer, over 20 years of experience. And what I've been doing lately is collaborations, and I take time out and to call people. And I said, let me give her a call and see if she's able to do this. And you know, like you said, no means no, yes means yes. So I called, we talked, and this came about. So everything in life was meant for a reason. So she's a really great person. I never met her face to face, but like I said, just watching her videos in the past and her workshops, I'm like, she's got a lot to offer. You know, and she's got a website. She's based in Canada. So if you're Canadian and you're interested in worms, check her website out. It'll be in the link in the description box, so you can touch base with her that way. But like I said, this is definitely an honor for me, for someone as famous as you, to be able to talk to someone as little as me.
I'm a legend in my mind.
See, we're doing yoga.
Oh, this was so much fun. I really enjoyed speaking with you, AJ. Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. And my personality, I'm able to connect with anyone. If you're an introvert, you know, is it outrovert? What you know?
Extra.
Yeah, enter and out or whatever. I'm able to connect with you. I'll try to just let you talk about yourself and explain what you can and can't do, and you know, no pressure. So I try to keep it basic, simple questions, no like gotchas or stump you, because like if you interviewed me, I hope, and I know you would, ask me just simple questions where I'm able to think and and answer them, you know, because I've been in interviews before, and the more you do them, the better you get. So,
Yes.
so this is kind of like an interview, but it's what, informal, relaxed. You know, come to have a glass of wine at the interview if you want or not. But
Right? Yeah.
yeah, but no, this is definitely awesome. Let me see what else came up. I know more worms than I do people. So he talks to.
They don't like vibration, by the way.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't hate anyone for what they like to do, you know. We're all unique, you know, and that's what makes the world go around. But yeah. But like it says, I want to thank the viewers for watching us and on the replay. You know, check out Cathy's channel. You know, she has one previously that I linked down here. But I think her and her husband are connected on a new YouTube channel. So I'm gonna need that from you as well. But yeah, like I said, if you're Canadian, definitely check her business out, support her, because she knows what she's talking about. Attend workshops, you know, promote her business.
Just send money.
Just send money, because that's what we need. It's all about the mighty dollar. Yeah, donate, whatever. Her address is in there. She's got a Discord account and all that stuff. So she's got plenty of resources to connect with you. So, but do you ship T-shirts to the U.S.? I gotta find out, because I might have to order a T-shirt from you.
Yeah, I would. Yes.
Yeah. So we'll touch base. Let's figure out how much shipping and handling would be, and I'll get a T-shirt from you so I can wear it on one of my live streams and
Love
get
it.
your name out there. Be your billboard.
That's a great tip as well for people. If you're gonna be exhibiting, get T-shirts with your website
Awesome.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely got to go back and check out State and Gardener, because a lot of people, they subscribe, but you don't know they subscribe to your channel, and then you see them on there, and it's like, okay, I got to go back and check out my subscribers. But I changed today's live stream up just to throw this out there. I opened it up to only subscribers only, you know, because I think it's more personal, you know, because like say I did like a quick giveaway and you never subscribe to my channel. I think that's kind of not good for people that have been there for weeks and months. So if you're not a subscriber, I'm plugging it, not to you, but be a subscriber. You never know what can happen.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. But no, this is awesome. Like I said, Cathy, I definitely appreciate you taking time out to do this. And also, what's the weather like right now for you? Do you have snow?
No, we don't have snow at the moment. We're just coming into spring. I mean, it could snow again, but right now we're looking at grass.
I hear you. Well, that's definitely good to hear. So, if you want, we can go ahead and call it a day. So let's get back to our normal life.
That's a wrap.
We're gonna wrap this up, but if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to Cathy's channel. Thank you for the love and support, everyone. Thank you, Cathy, as well. I just want to say thank you all for attending this live stream. Everyone have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Cathy. Good night.
Thank you, AG.
Bye.